What's up, guys? Welcome to the DV podcast, where we talk with inspiring people from all walks of life. On today's episode, we have Jay Mirando. This guy is a flipping genius.
I made over six figures on 2 properties.
We're going to talk about real estate. We'll talk about business. We'll talk about some crazy things that have happened on his flips.
We bail him out of jail, get the deal. Shadiest person in the whole entire world.
He has flipped dozens and dozens of properties over the last few years. In fact, this year, he'll probably flip over 35 properties.
I think that Beautiful Investments should be a business that is like 40 to 50 houses a year.
And we're also going to talk about content. Andrew Tate, Alex Hermosi, Graham Stephan, Robert Kiyosaki, how these guys are blowing up online and how you can too. Let's go ahead and dive in. What is the craziest thing that's ever happened on a flip?
The craziest thing. All right. I'm waiting for a few people to die before I tell the one. Let's tell this one. Got one deal in Pahrump. I get a call while I'm at a property. Hey, Jay, one of the people who are renting out this place got a letter in the mail, and the owner's getting evicted, but the owner's in jail, so nobody can talk to him. And, you know, the tenant's a little bit scared that they're going to get foreclosed on, right? I look up the property information, and we're about 87 days since a notice of default was filed. So in Clark County, you file the notice of default, 90 days later, notice of sale, 15 days later, it gets sold. I look at it, 87 days. I'm like, this guy is going to get a notice of sale any day now. It's going to happen any minute. So get me in touch with this person. He's in jail. Okay, well, we have to go to the jail. We have to talk to him. So we negotiate the deal while he's in jail.
You go
right?
down to the jail?
Yeah.
Was he expecting you?
No, he wasn't expecting us. All this was new to him. We're basically like going to the jail saying, hey, you're going to lose your house, bro. So we tell him that he's going to lose his house if he doesn't sell it right away, or he has to pay all the arrears, but he does not have the money for those arrears, right?
What is that, arrear?
Of all the money that he owes. So it was like $25,000 in arrears.
Like unpaid mortgages, basically.
Yeah, unpaid mortgages.
Got it.
So, I mean, he could catch the mortgage up to current with $25,000, but $25,000 to this gentleman might as well have been $1 million. He had the same probability of getting one as the other. So we bail him out of jail. We get the deal. Shadiest person in the whole entire world. He's trying to sell it out with somebody else in another deal. He's trying to scam me every single which way.
So you bail him out and he goes shopping the deal around?
Yeah, he goes shopping. He's trying to get other higher prices from other people after we bailed him out. Close one day before it goes to sale at auction. He ends up moving out. He got like $70,000 cash after the mortgage was paid off and everything, right?
Would he have made more if it went to auction?
No, there's no way.
But wouldn't it sell for more at auction or no?
It might have. I don't know how it works because there's a lot of auction fees too.
You can't go to the auction and buy houses.
You can, but there's just, as far as what he gets in his pocket, I'm not sure what he would have gotten in his pocket. Because, you know, if something goes to auction, you're not doing that good. Everybody has to make money. There's auction fees, there's more recording fees, there's filing notices, and they probably would have added more money onto the mortgage that he would have had to pay off. But he got like $70,000 in his pocket, which he blew through in like a month and a half. Bought a new truck, went out gambling, bought a lot of drugs, but he used to beat his girlfriend. She ended up saying, if you hit me one more time, I'm going to shoot you. So she shot him, and she shot him right in the stomach. End up going to the hospital. He shits out of a colostomy bag to this day, so he can't use the bathroom normally. And nobody was snitching. Everybody knew it was the girlfriend who shot him, but he's in the hospital. He didn't snitch. They get into another argument. Then he ends up ratting her out, saying that she's the one who shot him. She goes to jail. He's in a colostomy bag. I don't even know if he's still alive or not. But that's the craziest story.
And then after that, you went to the jail and bailed her out to get her house?
I mean, she deserved to get bailed out. He was...
Oh, yeah.
He deserved it. Like when she shot him, he absolutely deserved it, man.
So on that deal, was it a profitable deal for you?
Yeah, I made about $87,000. That was the most profitable deal of 2019. That bailed out my whole 2019 because we had a downturn in the market, and 2019 was the first year that I ever lost money on a flip.
Wow. Oh, interesting, man. That's crazy. So with that said, $87,000 on the deal, is that the most you've ever made on a deal, or do you have more profit?
No. In 2022, I mean, there was a period of time where 60,000 would be like the least I would make. There's like an 8-month period of time or 6-month period of time where I didn't make less than 60,000 on anything. And I mean houses that were like, I didn't even do the biggest rehabs to. I made $120,000 on. So I made over 6 figures on 2 properties.
It was almost like holding houses in 2020, 21 and 2022.
Yeah.
It just became profitable to just hold a house.
It was insane. It didn't make sense. We would list things. I mean, I remember on that one property that I made $120,000 on. I'm pretty conservative when it comes to my investment. I listed it for like $495, and I'm like, this is way above what the comps say, right? But I'm just going to list it at this number. I got like $522 for the property after overlisting it for like $20,000. And I mean, it was just printing money. That's why I laugh at some of these flippers who were so spoiled because they started flipping in COVID, right? And they're like, I know what my time is worth. I know, if I worked on a project, I know what I'm worth. I'm not going to accept less than when things were going down, because we had a pretty big downturn starting like July of last year, right? We went down about 15%. Those same people who are so cocky on the way up, it's going down. They're like, I know what my time is worth. We're not accepting that offer. And then they, instead of making like 10,000 on the deal, they end up losing 40,000 or 50,000 on the deal. Yeah, that's what your time is worth. Your time is worth nothing. Your time is worth whatever people will pay for it. It doesn't matter if I spend, like that one house I made 120,000 on, I spent like no time on that flip. That was one of the most easiest flips that I ever worked on. I made 120,000 on it. I'm not worth that. I just got lucky. The market bailed everybody out in that time, but then the same market that bailed us out took us down.
Dude, that's crazy. And it is the economic times when economics are bad. Mm-hmm. It's when you see who the real business owners are, because there's people who even now in the short period of time we've experienced some downturn. I bet you've seen a number of people fall off.
Yeah. A lot of the people who are overbidding on everything, a lot of the people who just saw somebody flipping online, got FOMO, bought a course, and just bought the first thing they saw, they all went out of business. They all lost money. And if there's one thing that I learned from 2019, because we didn't have a major downturn, but we had enough of the downturn. If there's one lesson that I remember is I should have reduced my price earlier. If it's not selling, every 10 days, I'm dropping that price 10 grand or 5 grand or 15 grand.
Every how many days?
Every like 10 days to 2 weeks. Wow. Usually like every 2 weeks on the dot, maybe drop it like 10 grand because I want to get ahead of it. I just want to exit that property, because if you're selling houses for 20,000 less, that means on the flipper side of things, you could probably buy it for 40,000 less. So get out.
So what is that business model? By the way, do you know you know who Grant Cardone is, right?
Yeah, I do.
Do you know much about his model when it comes to buying houses and real estate?
Yeah, he does the syndication model.
Which means what?
A syndication is when you take a look at all the apartment buildings and commercial real estate out here in Las Vegas, or you take a look at like a 300 unit apartment building, and you're like, who's the guy that owns that? There's not a single guy who owns that. It's probably a syndication where, let's say that property that is 300 units is probably $30 million, right? Which means if you want 20% down to purchase it, you need $6 million. So instead of one person bringing in that $6 million, and then you need reserves and all that, they basically take 60 people to put in 100,000 each. And then each of those 60 people, they're the owners of it. So why he's always asking you for money, like Grant Cardone is very self-serving. I think he's a genius. I think he's very brilliant, but he's incredibly self-serving with everything he says. He says the first thing you should do with your money is buy education, because he sells education. The second thing he says is don't buy single-family residential. You need to buy commercial, but no one could buy commercial for themselves. Even Grant Cardone doesn't buy commercial for himself. So when you can't buy commercial for yourself, you buy into his deals. You put in 50,000 or 100,000. So on every one of those apartment buildings that he owns like 1/60th of it, right? But he is GP, so everyone else is LP. So I mean, I'm probably speaking in too many numbers right now, but everyone else, if you buy into it for 1/60th, you own 1/60th of the property. But what Grant Cardone probably gets 1% to 2% acquisition fee. So, hey, $30 million deal gets 1% to 2%. That's $300,000 to $600,000 right there. He gets 1% to 2% every single year just for managing it. But he's not managing it. He's managing the managers. He's not like collecting rents from people. He's just managing the people who are collecting rents from people. So he gets $300,000 to $600,000 a year from that. But where Grant Cardone makes all of his real money is all the exit fees. So the exit fees, he gets the one thing is called like preferred, and then there's guaranteed, there's preferred, but he might get like 30% of an exit. So let's say that $30 million property 10 years from now or 7 years from now is worth $60 million. He probably gets like $30 million profit. He probably gets 30% of that, so like $10 million.
Is he snaking people on the deals?
Many people consider that he's snaking people. If there's honest ways to do syndications and there's dishonest ways to do syndications, but it is valuable. I'm going to say he's not snaking people on the deals, okay. But there's people who would argue otherwise.
Okay. But you don't believe that to be the case?
I believe that some of the practices that he does are a little shifty, right? Just a little shifty.
He's doing 3-year notes, right, on these deals? He's borrowing money on like a 3-year note, or?
I don't know what the exacts are. What the fundamentals of syndications is usually like 5 to 7 years, because everybody's just flipping things. I'm flipping properties. he's flipping commercial. But when you flip commercial, it's over a long time horizon, right? Nobody gets into a commercial and sells it 3 months later like I do. You get into it, you stabilize the property, you add upgrades to it, you repave the driveway, you paint multifamily, you put in a new pool, you put in things, you get it in, people will pay more money. It might take you 2 years to do that because you need the old people who were paying $900 a month rent to leave and kick them out, and then you charge $1,200 a month rent. Then you charge $1,400 a month rent, and you really want to boost those rents up. And then 5 years later, that's when you're really going to see the big money.
What would happen in the case if your note's maturing? Let's say you're borrowing money at a 4% rate.
Yeah.
Right? And the note's maturing, and now the rate's more than doubled since then. Mm-hmm. What if the cash flow then at that point goes negative?
If the cash flow goes negative, there are some people who are going in on the deals who are getting a percentage. There's some investors who see the blood in the water, right? And they're saying, hey, we will bail you out of this bad situation that you're in, but we need like a 20 or 30% split of the whole entire deal. So they'll walk in, they'll save it, but they're getting a large portion because when you see blood in the water, you take advantage of people, right? So I mean, the loans are coming due, and he can either sell, which the good news is there's no inventory out there right now, right? There's no inventory because everybody knows that it's bad. So I mean, residential people might be stupid, but commercial people are generally more savvy with longer time horizons. So when you're more savvy with a longer time horizon, you're like, now's not a good time to sell, so I'm just not going to sell. I'll sell next year. Or I'll sell 2 years from now. That's when you see like markets go down, you never see luxury property go down at the same rate as residential because luxury owners can just wait it out. I'll sell it 3 years from now. But the richer you are, the longer your time horizon is. So because there's so little inventory, if somebody wants to get into a house, I mean, at least he could probably sell it with breaking even, hopefully. But let's say he doesn't. There's a lot of investors who are coming in to save those deals.
Interesting.
But, I mean, he'll probably get screwed on some of them. And BlackRock, it's either BlackRock or Wedgwood or one of the major hedge funds out there walked away from like millions of their investments. Like, we're just not going to pay. Here, take it back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're so big that they have all the law firms to just back them up.
Dude, that's crazy. What do you think AI is going to play a role in your industry, if at all?
I think the wholesalers, wholesalers are the people who gather the deals. So probably on the acquisition side of things, it'll make it easier. I think that AI will really come in big when there's better chatbots or better people, chatbots and then like verbal AI to where they could do the cold calls. So in wholesaling, what a lot of them do is they utilize virtual assistants. And most of those virtual assistants are either in the Philippines, Latin America, or India. And generally, their English is not as good as our English. And when you are a potential seller here in Las Vegas and you hear that accent, it ruins all the trust, right? When you hear that person, it's going to sound so bad for me to do an accent, but I'll do it anyways. Hello, you want sell your home? All of your trust is out the window.
Wait. How's it go exactly?
You want sell your home? You want... But all your trust is out the window. You're like, this person can't sell my home. This person probably doesn't even live here. All your trust for that person goes out the window.
Well, what if he does live? What if he's like two neighborhoods down?
2 neighborhoods down. The trust is still ruined. Like they're not going to trust anyone with an accent, right?
That's crazy.
So I think that, but all these people don't close the deal. Their only job is to turn a completely cold lead. Would you be interested in selling your home? Yes or no? Okay, we'll put you in touch with somebody who will do it. Their only goal is to set warm lead appointments for the Americans. But you probably need to dig through 100 leads of trash to get one person who's a warm lead. Mm-hmm. And that's why you need virtual assistants. But I think that AI could be more effective than a virtual assistant. But that would need verbal technology, which I know that people use. There's a lot of the big corporations that use it so that you could speak to them and say, yes, I want to sell my home. That's great. Let's move you to here. Is it this shape, this shape? They could probably put all that in a note section and then put you in touch with the American to actually close it. But for some reason, wholesalers aren't utilizing that technology yet.
What is the model on flipping? So you're looking for houses that you can get at a good price, and then you do some renovation to it and you sell it for more. Is that it?
Yeah. It's if you buy any deal at 80% of ARV, ARV means after repair value. So if you buy something at 80% of ARV minus repairs, so let's just use $1 million as a nice even number. So there's $1 million of an ARV. That's what you think you would sell it for if it's all flipped. So 80% of that is $800,000. If you think it takes $100,000 to put into it to get it to that point, then that means that your target price would be $700,000. And that's the model with anything. Like I bought a Rolls Royce 2 or 3 years ago, and I sold it to Spencer & Lucky, right? So I bought a 1984 Silver Spur, and I bought it for $1,000, and it was a piece of crap. Like it couldn't run. It was awful. And I sold it to Spencer & Lucky for $2,500. I'll buy anything if I can get at 80% of ARV minus repairs.
What about like a suitcase of dildos?
A suitcase of dildos, 80% of ARV minus repairs. Okay? If you got to clean them, wipe them off, however you got to do it. That's what I'll do.
I've always been intrigued by the real estate market, like flipping, what that process looks like. But I've always been scared. So like, dude, I can go buy a house. I can run and see comps and see like, okay, like this is probably what it should sell for. But then when it comes to the repairs, I have no freaking idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to get scammed. I don't know if I'm going to do things wrong.
Yeah. That's really scary.
How do you manage that process?
I mean, I've lived in Las Vegas for like 11 to 12 years now. So I really know Las Vegas. I know the construction. I know how much things cost, like the back of my hand. If I were to move to North Carolina with 6 years of flipping experience, I'd still be scared shitless. Hawaii, still be scared shitless. So what you would do is I would say the typical bigger pockets model of like get 3 contractors to give you the quote on it. But you want to break down their quote in every individual area. You need to break it down. How much dollar per square foot are you for laying laminate? How much dollar a square foot are you for laying tile? How much would you charge to paint this house, or how much dollar per square foot to paint this house? Some painters don't look at it like that. Some painters do. Some people will say like $1.15 a square foot, or let's just say $1.50 for even numbers, which means for a 2,000 square foot house, they charge you $3,000 to paint it. And you want to lock them in at every one of these numbers. And then when it comes to the end and they're like, hey, here's my price to do the whole entire job. If they tell you $30,000, but you did the math on everything that you locked them into on a dollar per square foot basis, and you're like, that only adds up to $18,000. How do we get to this $30,000? It's a hard time for them to dig themselves out of that hole. To where if you don't ask the questions in the right way, like you have to ask the questions in the right manner to get the desired result. Like for example, you go into Chipotle, right? If you ask for half chicken, half steak, they're probably going to get you a spoonful of 3/4 chicken and 3/4 steak, right? Where if you said, I want double meat, chicken and steak, they probably do 1 full spoonful and then 1 full spoonful. So you would have got 1.5 portions. Now you're getting 2 portions, but you're paying double. If you say, I want half chicken, half steak, they'll probably do 3/4 spoon and a 3/4 spoon. You lean left. Then you go back. You say, actually, can I get double meat? Then they'll do the same thing again, 3/4 chicken, 3/4 steak. You got 3 portions for the price of 2 because you asked it in the right manner. You asked the questions in the right way, and now you got triple instead of double. And it's the same thing with flipping. I say that because it's cute and everybody can relate to it, but you lock them in at the right prices. And if they're way too high in painting, but they're really good for laminate, just use another contractor for paint. And what I want to do, because I've been screwed by contractors many times. I've had a lot of bad situations because contractors are like dating. Every girl is going to tell you how good she's going to be to you, how good she is on a date, how caring she is, how she always shows up on time. But you don't know the truth until you actually date her. Every girl you've ever dated has always told you they'd be the best you'd ever have, right? But you don't know the truth until later. And there's a lot of contractors, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to where they're going to tell you that they're always going to show up, and they don't. They're going to tell you it'll be done in a month. It's not. They're going to tell you their work is so good, you're going to find a million flaws with it. So when you're first starting out, I would only want to give someone a small job so that if they mess it up, you could walk away.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever done any of the labor yourself?
Maybe some clean out. I'm not very skilled. Like I've very soft hands. Right? Like I've never done construction. Just to learn, I've said, hey, let me install this tile, or let me do it. And they would kind of watch me, but that'd be with contractors who are like not as professional, right? Like you're just letting the boss grab the tile and do everything. But so that I'd have a better idea of what they were doing, I wanted to try it. But if you're going to do what they're doing, then why wouldn't you just do what they do for a living? If you want to paint, just be a painter. But I'm here to flip houses. I manage everything and put it together. That's not what my job is. So I paid them to do that so I could focus on the big problems. None of them make $30,000 a project. I make $30,000 a project because I stick to what I'm good at. You don't need that knowledge, but you need to be aware of the time it takes to do it and of what goes into it.
Yeah, because like I always thought, oh well, I should at least know how to do that so I know if they're doing it right. But that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. I
know enough to fact check whether they know what they're talking about or not. Now, if you got really lucky, some people get super lucky, and their first contractor that they ever hire just always fulfills everything and always does everything the right way and knows what they're talking about. So they never had to go through the hard lessons. The first few contractors who I hired, every one of them made mistakes. Every one of them were awful. The one was a guy who was a recommendation from someone else. I hired them for my own personal home. Every day I saw new people in my home. Every day was a new guy. I'm like, how is there a new person working on the flooring every day, a new person painting every day? Then eventually, like a week or 2 weeks later, I go home. There's some people waiting for me. They're like, where's Luis? And I'm like, oh, he's not here. He's like, he said that you'd pay us the money. I'm like, I already paid Luis the money. He said, you paid us the money. I'm like, no, like you got that wrong. Here, I could show you the check that I wrote in my Bank of America app. And it turns out that he was getting illegal immigrants in front of Home Depot. He would use them for one day, and they would trust him because he's Mexican. So he would get Mexican people because he's from Mexico, so they would trust him. He would get them for the day rate, and then when they wanted to get paid, he'd either lie and say that I was going to pay, or he would say, hey, if you want to bring this up, I'm just going to deport you, and I'm going to report you to ICE. So he gained their trust because he's Mexican, and then he screwed over his own people. Like, that's a pretty big situation. I had multiple situations like that. I've had contractors on meth that never finished. You're going to get a lot of bad contractors, especially here in Vegas.
How long have you been in this business for?
I've been buying properties since 2011, 2012. I did some remodels on those, but those were for buy and holds. But it gave me some experience because I would like paint and maybe change flooring. I became a realtor in 2015, and I started flipping houses in 2017.
So if you go back 10 years and you look at, how old are you?
33.
So you look at 22-year-old Jay.
Yeah.
Dude, what do you say? Dude, flipping real estate is the move? Or you would have said, dude, there's a better business model out there.
I mean, I would have said buy crypto, but like sell in 2022 before it drops. But like, other than saying buy Bitcoin, even though 22-year-old me would still probably not believe it, I'd say flipping's where it's at. But I would say like just borrow everything. I was really conservative. I thought that you were going to screw me if you're giving me a 12% interest rate with 3 points up front. I should have taken all the financing that anyone would ever give me and then just use that to flip houses.
What are you doing to find deals and find a good deal going into the process?
So I spend $0 on marketing whatsoever. What I do a very networking way. So I hold events. Wholesalers go there, flippers go there. And every person who I meet, I teach them about finding deals. I teach all my contractors how to find deals. I teach new wholesalers how to find deals. I go to realtors. I'm like, 3% commission. Do you want to make some real money? Because I'll tell you how to make some real money rather than getting that house for $250,000 and you're getting a 3% commission on it. Lock it up for $220,000. Sell it to me for $250,000, and now you're making a $30,000 commission on it. That's way more money than the 3%, the $7,500 that you're gonna make. So I teach realtors how to make more money, and eventually, over time, I just have so many people bring me deals on a daily basis. So if you followed me around, you would just see me in coffee shops or driving to my properties, and then I'm just getting calls all day long of, hey, Jay, we got a new one. It's on this street. Could you look it up? And then just pull over in my car, pull out my laptop, do the comps on it, and I say I could put, offer this much. But I basically just tell everybody who I meet and see to be on the lookout for bad properties. And when you see a bad property, send it to me.
Why bad properties, though?
Because that's a clear sign that they're going to be open to a low offer. Now, keep in mind, you could go to anybody. Like, I could offer you for your car right now, hey, would you sell it for $20,000? And you might say, hell no, Jay, fuck off. And that's fine. I'll just go. Doesn't hurt me. But
dude, let's play a game right now.
Yeah.
I'll sell you my car for $30,000. You have no idea what car it is. It could be worth way more or way less.
Way more. I mean, if it's the one that you drive every day, I bet money that it's worth way more. If it's the one that you drive. So,
dude,
I'll take it for 25.
It's a car that I drove for years, and I recently stopped driving it. It's sitting in my garage at home.
No, I want your daily driver. Now, it could be a Ferrari at home, and you just drive the other one for the daily driver, but I want your daily driver.
I'm sorry.
I'm betting it's a Tesla.
They're both Teslas.
They're both Teslas?
Yeah.
Oh, so I would have came out on it.
Yeah, you would have came out.
What are we getting at? Dude,
it sounds like you're just trying to scam people. You're going to some guy that is down on his luck and saying, hey, I'll buy your house.
Scamming someone would be misrepresenting the value. When you see realtors get in trouble, like, hey, there's been some people out there who've gotten in a lot of trouble with flipping and wholesaling. Generally, they went to like a really old lady, like 70 years old, and they're like, yo, this thing is only worth $200,000. Like, just sell it to me for like $170, and then you don't have to do the realtor fees or any of that. And she's like, okay. But in reality, it's worth $400,000. When you straight up lie and misrepresent the value, that's scamming people, right? But if you are fully transparent, like I don't give a crap because they make so many offers a day. I'm like, yeah, if it was all fixed up, it would probably get $400,000. It's going to take me all this money to, put into it. I could offer $280,000 for it, but I never misrepresented any value for it. I never told you it was only worth $280,000. I just said that's what I could pay for it. And if you make anyone a low offer and they say yes, then they said yes to it. You might have a Rolex in your house right now that's worth $10,000. If I offer you $5,000 for it, most days you'll probably say hell no, but there might be one day that you need the money and you just say yes to me. So I'm really taking advantage of people who are in situations where they have to sell. And that's the big thing. Most of my deals come from people who inherited the house, they want nothing to do with it, and the house is really bad. Or it's people who just need to leave right away. And real estate is an illiquid asset. If you need the money in 8 days, then where else are you going to go? The MLS is too slow. Realtors are too slow. If you need the money right away because you have to do something, you got to go to somebody like me, and I'm going to offer you less money.
You could close a deal in 8 days?
Yeah, I could close it less than that, but 8 days is comfortable.
Interesting. That's crazy. Buying and selling houses, I'm used to like, oh, it's 30 days for this, 60 days for that.
Yeah.
It's like,
there's a book called Irresistible Offer or Unique Offer, something like that. I think it's called The Irresistible Offer. And it's basically talks about what is your unique offer. What's your offer proposition? They go into Domino's in like the 90s or 80s, and they're like 30 minutes or less or else your pizza's free. Now, Domino's in the 90s had awful pizzas. It tasted like cardboard. It was crap. It was terrible. But 30 minutes or less or else it's free. So why did people buy it? They bought it because they needed fast food to their house right away, right? Like nobody was buying it because it was the best. People don't take my offer because it's the best offer. They take my offer because it's quick and it's easy.
Kind of like your sex life.
Kind of like my sex life. There's been so many girls who weren't high quality women, but I took them up on their proposition because they were quick and they were easy. Got to have a path in.
Dude, we never talk about that stuff on this show, but here we are. So you make good money. I know because you drive a 2004 Volkswagen Bug.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you're kind of like
limited edition
in this business model, dude. You're living almost paycheck to paycheck. It's like deal to deal.
Yeah,
you're almost like a salesman. You got to go sell. You got to go sell to get your next thing.
Yeah.
Does that not stress you out?
I'm in constant stress and anxiety.
Really?
Constant. Yeah. Have you ever read the book Shoe Dog? Book of Nike.
Yeah.
I relate so much to his story to where he'll buy like, $10,000 worth of shoes, sells them for $20,000. He re-ups $40,000, and then he sells the $40,000 for like $60,000. Then he re-ups and he buys like $80,000 or $100,000. And he sells that off and he buys more. And he's like tripling his business year over year, every single year. But he has no reserves. He has no money in the bank. It's so scary to live his lifestyle, right? There's so many bad situations that he got himself in. He goes to the bank and like, could you guys lend me more money? And they're like, no, because you don't have enough reserves. Well, I'd have reserves if you would just lend me more money, right? But that is what I relate to. Because I go from one flip in 2017, 8 in 2018, 12 in 2019, 18 in 2020, 22 in 2021. I went down like 21 of last year. But this year I should be at like 35 houses, right? I'm buying a house a week right now. I'm not going to keep up on this path forever. But right now I'm so bullish on the market that I'm going to buy one house a week until I blow my load and I can't buy anymore. But when you're growing, it takes so much capital in this business to grow it, and it's stressful. But if I wanted to, I'm at the point now to if I wanted to just stay at 20 houses a year, I wouldn't be in so much stress. I could really do that comfortably, to be honest. But I don't buy anything for myself. Like, I just reinvest everything in the business because I think that Beautiful Investments should be a business that is like 40 to 50 houses a year. And at like 40 or 50, I'll probably slow down and say, hey, I am at the max of where I want to be, or I might be at the max at 30 houses a year. But when you're growing like 50% year over year, it's scary.
Yeah.
It takes so much money to do this.
How do you think that affects your life? Like, do you have friends? Are you in a relationship? Like, dude, what is your, do you have a parents?
Yeah.
I feel like all you do is just work and network.
Yeah. I network, but networking's fun. Like, you network a lot. Like, that's part of your job, but like, aren't you happy with the connections that you make? Like,
yeah, but dude, I'm not like, chasing down contractors and like,
yeah. My podcast, which was pretty new, somebody's like, wow, Jay, you got a lot of heavy hitters on there. All the best flippers in Vegas have been on it, except for like one or two. And like, cause they all know me. They all have done deals with me. They've all hung out with me. Like, I know interesting people cause that's who I network with, like you network with interesting people too. That's just fun at a certain point, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Chasing contractors around is something that I would like to hire someone on for operations to do. Maybe somebody to just oversee all the properties and someone who knows construction and is a little bit better with timelines than me. I'm not the most organized person.
I wonder if that guy back in Pahrump with the bag could be your guy.
I think so. He owed everybody money, man. Literally in a month and a half, they're all like come to the property because he owed them like $1,500. That's how fast he blew it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're pretty motivated. I know you definitely kind of tap into hustle culture. What's your personal development routine? Like, do you have one? Do you read? Or are you just like a byproduct of luck?
I started into my journey of personal development at 18 when I got recruited into network marketing. And network marketing is generally regarded as a pyramid scheme, but life is a pyramid scheme. But that said, network marketing sucks. Like, in 2 years, I made $3,000 in it. You know what I mean? Like, network marketing sucked. But that was my university. Like, network marketing is how I read all the early books that everyone reads, Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And then that got me down the route of doing more books on sales, more books on psychology, more books on business as a whole. And I probably read 2 to 3 books a month on Audible. I read one new one, and then I'll reread 2 old ones. Because your memory retention for audio learning is only like a third of real reading. So I reread the books that I read a year or 2 years ago so that I can kind of freshen up on it and understand it a little bit better.
What's the book that's changed your life the most?
Hey, maybe the book Flip, which I read at 16. Because I am flipping properties right now. I'd probably say the best book is Thinking Fast and Slow. But I didn't read that until later in my life. So I don't want to be typical and say Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Everybody says that. I'll do Richest Man Babylon. How about that?
There we go. That's a good.
Love
one.
it.
My top 2 are in that middle shelf. On the lower middle shelf, on the top.
Think and Grow Rich.
And How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Influence
You know that one, right?
I know that one. I read that, and then I think the new version of it is Vanessa Van Edwards' Captivate. I'd say she's like the new version of Win Friends and Influence People, but like backed by science. Did you like that? Did you like the How to Win Friends and Influence People? When I first read it, I'm like, they're just telling you to remember names and shake people's hands. The whole time I was reading it, I'm like, man, this is lame. I know how to just use people's names in a sentence.
I think it's worthwhile for people, especially people who, the one thing it's able to do is it helps people frame their mindset. I mean, dude, look, MLMs, like that was for you, your initiation. For other people, like they all have their own thing.
The craziest thing about MLMs is like I went to all these trainings, and these same trainers, if they were some of the people that you or I know right now, would have been paid like $20,000, $30,000 a pop to speak to people. They honestly had some really good trainers in network marketing who would do it just because they love the attention of it. That's it. They didn't know how to monetize their skill. They were so good. They were so gifted at it. Far greater than what I am.
Do you know someone who's really gifted at rallying people?
Who's that?
Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate, yes. He is a genius.
You think so?
Yeah. I think his whole model, I'm going to give him the credit of doing all this on purpose. He said the offensive things, like how did Kim Kardashian become famous? By doing what is controversial. Andrew Tate did the route of going of what is controversial to get people to talk about him, right? And he absolutely succeeded. There's a point in time where you can't have a conversation without talking about Andrew Tate. And I think that the real Andrew Tate is a bit more stoic than that, a bit more logical than that, but he had to play that character. I believe, I'm giving him the credit, the benefit of the doubt, to say that he was playing a character to generate and garner all that attention. And then, now that he has it, now he can lead you to where he wants to go. I also believe that's what Fresh and Fit did. Like, Fresh and Fit went down the route of getting dumb women on their podcasts, honestly exploiting dumb women. That's their whole business model, right? Let's be honest. But that is how they got all the views, because that is what garners the most controversy, the most attention. That's what people want to watch. But then they have Money Mondays, where they talk about money. They talk about how to be better men. They talk about the betterment, but people don't tune into betterment. They tune into smut. They tune into controversy. So you get all the eyes, you get all the attention by being controversial. If I want to be the number one flipper on social media right now, I would just get 2 strippers to walk through me on either side of me and go into all my flips at all times, and I would post that on social media. And because that would be controversial to always have 2 strippers next to you in bikinis, I would get all the eyeballs in the world. Who is this? Why does he always have like 2 half-naked women around him all the time? Because women gather attention. Women, hot cars, Ferraris, Lamborghinis. And then you could take that attention and pivot it into something a little bit more like logical or better. What do you think? I mean, do you think he's scamming or?
Andrew Tate?
Yeah.
Dude, Andrew Tate is a character. I think he understands where people are at in the world.
Yeah.
And the way he's speaking, if you watch how he's speaking from a place of, dude, he's antagonistic, he's angry, he's bitter.
Yeah.
It's like he's mad at the world.
Yeah.
But that's where society's at, dude. They're mad at the world. They want to play the victim. They want to be angry. They want to be antagonistic. They want to hate on stuff. And so he's speaking to where the masses are at.
Yeah.
And this rah motivation shit, dude, Alex Hormozi, dude, this is a guy that he's coming from a place of like anger and frustration. The words he's saying are positive. The tone and the way he's saying it is, he would probably say realist.
But you don't think that's just the steroids?
Did he do steroids?
Yeah. A very large amount. There's a lot of juice in there, clearly. But, like, he's very direct. But I love Alex Hormozi. Because some people are saying, hey, you need to be really simple with people, kind of like the Jay-Z model, like dumb down my audience to double my dollars. Like, you know, you can't speak over people. I love what Alex Hormozi does because he speaks ultra logically and he doesn't speak down to his audience, except for when he says top 3 things or top 5 things. Obviously, that's dummy fishing, right? But if he's not doing a top 3 or a top 5, he's being really logical and like high level concepts. And I really, really respect that. Because so many people, I mean, hey, I'll say something that within my group of friends, I had an event 2 days ago, and they're like, oh, Graham Stephan, I mean, you know, he's an idiot. He doesn't know investing. It's because he's giving simple concepts so that young kids can understand it, right? Like, I'm sure that Graham Stephan knows really complex ways of investing, but he's saying what he says so that it's digestible to 18-year-olds who never heard of investing. Which is why so many people, when they first like trying to get into the space, they gravitate towards Graham Stephan because he can really lay it out in a simple manner so that everyone can understand it. Mm-hmm. But like that's a choice that you have to make. Do you want to be like really high level like Naval Ravikant? Who knows who Naval Ravikant is, right? Nobody. Like, do you want to be the gangster rapper who everybody loves on the underground, but like they don't sell a lot of albums? Or do you want to be like Drake, who's half singer, half rapper, who you might think like all of his bars are lazy, but he sells out?
I mean, dude, it depends on your circle, right? Like where we're at, dude, like Naval, I was looking for his book. I know it's somewhere around here. Almanac of Naval Ravikant, dude. Like that book was fire. And like you and I will sit here and like geek out about the stuff he talks about all day long.
Yeah.
But 17-year-old Jason from, North Carolina, like he's not reading that.
And who's everybody's first book? Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I mean, Think and Grow Rich. Like it's the simple ones, right?
Yeah.
But Rich Dad, Poor Dad is like, if you talk to people, what's the first book you read? That's like probably number one.
And he was so brilliant with it because he took this thing that so many people agree with. Like he took the traditional dogma of, oh, your property is a good investment, or you should go to college. Like go to college, do the right thing, save up and retire. And he said, if you do that, you're stupid. And just challenge people on their beliefs. But he didn't go too crazy. He went just enough to challenge you on what your parents told you. Even the title of the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, who's the rich dad, the one who didn't go to college? Who's the poor dad, the one who went to college? And that just blew people's mind. You need that. You need like 10 or 20% of controversy. And that's what Andrew Tate did, but he probably overcorrected on the controversy side of things.
So, dude, we talked about almost 4 types of content. We got Andrew Tate, Alex Hormozi, Graham Stephan, and Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
Robert Kiyosaki went simple but slightly controversial. Graham Stephan goes super simple for the masses, for like a large audience can understand. Anyone can understand.
Yeah.
Hormozi goes high level, is what your argument on that?
Yeah.
And Andrew Tate goes angry, controversial.
Yeah. For now.
What's the best model?
I mean, Andrew Tate has the most success, right? But then most kings get their heads chopped off. And Andrew Tate basically almost had his head chopped off. So the best model is Robert Kiyosaki, to where he garnered enough attention to where he was a legend off of just one book. And he toured on it and everything with just the right amount of controversy. But he didn't get so big to where he got his head chopped off.
What about Hormozi?
Hormozi, I really love what Hormozi's doing. I love it. Like, I'm probably the biggest fan of Hormozi out of all those. But
what's a Hormozi style talking point that you think is the reason he's successful in your industry?
In my industry. So he's very influenced by Naval Ravikant, and he's very influenced by also Warren Buffett and like Charlie Munger. So those are his influences. And you can really tell that he listens to a lot of Naval when he like speaks. But why so many people love him in real estate, because a lot of my friends, like him and they'll quote some of the things that he says. I mean, I hate some of his books, to be honest with you. But some of his books are just like charge more money. Now that you charge more money, charge more money. And the real secret to charging more money is take that number that you thought was ridiculous, times that by 10, now charge that amount of money. And whenever a contractor or a person even tries to negotiate with me like that, I just don't work with them. Don't try to don't put some crazy number and just think I'm going to do it. But I guess you only need a small percentage of people to say yes. But he has the right amount of stoicism with the right amount of dummy fishing to where he still captures everyone.
What's dummy fishing?
Dummy fishing is top 5 ways to buy real estate. The top 3 things that's holding you back in business. The top 5 ways to get started in business. Top 3 ways to get started in real estate. No money down. If you want to blow up, you could just go dummy fishing all day long. Top 5, top 7, top 3. And every fucking idiot's going to gobble it up. I hate it.
Dude, this has been fun. How can people connect with you? Pornhub.com/J Mirando.
That's where I got the goods. If you go to youtube.com/@thepapertrails, the podcast is called Paper Trails Podcast. That's what I do. Also, Instagram is Vegas Flipper J.
Dude, one last thing. So we have, let me stroll over here. Have you seen this book before?
That looks haunted.
Yeah, it is haunted. So this book is a book of questions. The way this works is the last guest left a question for you.
Okay.
But they didn't know who you were. So you're going to read the question out loud, answer it to the audience on camera, and then you'll leave a question for the next guest.
Awesome. Yeah. Let's go. It's going to be the most inappropriate question. I know it.
I don't think I've read it yet. So it's the one on the right-hand side there.
This is exactly how I would design a book if it was haunted. What was the dumbest, most expensive thing you ever purchased? The Dogecoin millionaire. I know that guy. Okay. The dumbest, most expensive thing I ever purchased, well, it's not the most expensive, but it is the dumbest, is my BMW X7. Depreciating asset, costs way too much money. It's not even like the coolest thing. but it feels like you're sitting in your living room. I spend so much time sitting in my car and like pulling up my laptop and doing comps that even though it was way too much money to buy it, bro, I'm so comfortable now. I love it. It was good for me.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you.